Hello and welcome back to Four Corners of the Galley movie review. On this episode, we're reviewing King Arthur, the Legend of the Sword. It's a reinvented tale of King Arthur and his merry men in the Round Table. It was a very, very good movie.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good.
Extremely good. Obviously, let's just get to the blunt of this movie. It is a fantasy movie, basically. It is a reimagined tale of Lord of the Rings mixed with 300. And that's basically what it is. It's a great fairy tale where it inhibits all of the mythology of King Arthur with the Lady in the Lake and the different elements and Merlin. And then it kind of twists and turns and it gives you that Guy Ritchie feel, but it makes it more Lord of the Rings 300.
Yeah.
Totally. Now, the thing about it is, when you're watching a Guy Ritchie movie, you really got to be a Guy Ritchie fan because he loves to do those jump cuts, speed up, fast talking, quick scenes, flashbacks. I mean, they're great. If you've seen his other movies, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, Snatch, Rock and Rolla, Sherlock Holmes, you'll really love this movie.
Yeah.
If you don't, I'm sorry, it's just not for you. And as you can tell by the marketing and the numbers, I mean, no one's really seen this movie. I mean, we saw it and there was 5 people in the theater.
Yeah. But it's probably not because of the Guy Ritchie feel. It's more of the overall feel of the movie is much more fantasy towards a certain group of fantasy lovers, which can help it and hurt it at the same time.
I think it's more of the marketing. They showed a bunch of pictures of Charlie Hunnam, who's famous but not famous. He's Sons of Anarchy, but he's not really bigger than that. And they only just said the one true king, him and a sword, and they weren't really showing it off. And then when they did show things, they showed Joe Law really being this villain, and they just didn't give him more to that. Where Jude Law absolutely crushed.
Villain,
he absolutely crushed it. I mean, and then it has so many elements of Game of Thrones, as you can tell. We have the Game of Thrones. We're just playing off the theme. It was a great movie overall. Warner Brothers really hasn't done a good job with their marketing. I mean, we saw a movie Edge of Tomorrow 2 years ago, and it was a fantastic movie, and it bombed at the box office too. But it was a great movie that they just didn't market right. I mean, they even changed the title to Never Live, Die, Repeat, or Edge of Tomorrow. I mean, they just changed the title so many times. That's the problem. So I feel like it got lost. But I mean, go out and see King Arthur. It is a really good movie. I would definitely give it a solid C+.
C+, yeah. I would probably give it more of a B-.
All right. I felt like it was overall, the story was great. The mythology was done great. The Guy Ritchie feel and element was done great. I felt like he did get a little Guy Ritchie at times. I didn't like the names that they use outside of the classic fairy tale names. He created a lot of names that I just felt like were way off topic and weren't easy to understand or follow. And then a little bit of the CGI was a little off, but it was very greatly done, and it did have that great 300 feel when it came to the action.
Yeah, and it was very world building. Like, you can obviously tell that they thought of this world very carefully, and they maybe were planning a sequel if this one did well enough, which maybe it won't, maybe it will, probably won't.
It's dead in the water. It's dead in the water. You come out to 14 million, you cost 175. They're not going anywhere. It's sad to say this movie is just gonna end up on video really fast, and you guys will probably get to see it when it comes on HBO real soon.
Yeah, unfortunately.
But if you do have to take the time to go see it, we do recommend it. It's highly entertaining, a lot of fun, fast paced. It doesn't really drag at a lot of points. It kind of kicks through a lot of the things that you think it's going to drag at, and he does his Guy Ritchie speed through. So we would definitely recommend it as a great summer kickoff.
Yeah, a good summer kickoff.
Welcome to the spoiler section of the King Arthur Legend of the Sword movie review. This is where we're going to dig deeper into the movie and give you a little more insight into what really happened in the movie and how the story progressed and things of that nature. So please, if you have not seen this movie and do not want to know any more, please stop. Spoilers. Alright, now that they're gone, let's jump right into it. So this movie starts off kind of with that Lord of the Rings feel. You see these giant elephants attacking these castles. They show you Camelot, and it kind of brings you in, but it starts you not with King Arthur, but with his father. So it was very interesting. What did you think about that?
It was quite interesting because they gave a good backstory to the movie, because in the beginning of the movie it says that the mages and humans were living in peace for a very long time until this powerful mage called Morwen, I want to say, took over power and started using dark magic and began to wipe out all the other mages and the humans.
The humans at the same time, yeah. Basically kind of like a combination of mystical world and the human world. So it really did have that Lord of the Rings minus the orcs and the elves and the different things of that nature, but it still did that. You had Eric Bana playing his father and the king. He played a great role where if he put two hands basically on Excalibur, like his ice kind of formed through him and his eyes turned blue and he had the ability to like walk through fire. It was pretty cool to see, and we don't want to ruin all of it, but it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
And then it kicks in.
We fast forward a few times because we don't want to say everything.
Yeah.
To where Arthur is pretty much rules the streets of Londinium.
Yeah, basically like a smaller London area.
Yeah.
And then, you know, and he's basically the hustler of all of it, and he runs the whole entire town. It's pretty cool to see how a kid who didn't really get it still becomes king in his own sort of way. And then, you know, it kicks into him finding the true one. You know, just like all the tales, the sword reveals itself, and all the people go to take the sword, try to take the sword out, and then eventually, you know,
he pulls it, and then
they had a great cameo actually during that time. We don't want to ruin it, but it had a nice little cameo at that scene. Make sure you check it out.
Yeah.
That was fun. And then, you know, it kicks into this fun gear of him, you know, the whole story where kind of goes Empire, going into a dark cave and the self-doubt and he's trying to find himself and things of that nature, you know, and then jumps into that great action that you would expect from a fantasy tale.
Yeah. Like, the action was amazing. The CGI, although at sometimes could be better, was pretty good.
Yeah.
On top of that.
It did have that 300 feel with the dark clouds and focusing in on the one man and the sword. It was pretty intense. It was cool. I did like it. And then, you know, like all good fairy tales, it has that great ending to the end, of course. We don't want to ruin all of it. It has a couple of scenes you haven't seen yet. Make sure you go check that out. But, I mean, overall, I felt like it was still a great tale of King Arthur. It was different, very different from the other ones. I mean, First Night was more of a love story with Richard Gere and Sean Connery back in the days. And then they tried to reboot King Arthur some years ago with Clive Owen, and that came off really bad also and bombed. So I thought this was really good. I'm just really sad that not a lot of people have gone to see it. But please, go check it out.
Yeah, it's a really good movie. The reviews clearly speak for it. It may be doing bad in the theaters, but the movie is really good.
Yeah. So that's all we got for you guys. Thanks for joining us on Four Corners of the Galley Movie Review, King Arthur, Legend of the Sword Edition. Until next time, good night, Ted.